Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah, she looked at Harry and she's like, "Nigga, you need to get a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry."
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
The night Trevor Noah focused his comedy on Meghan Markle felt less like a typical late-night joke segment and more like a sharp cultural moment. The energy in the room was different. The laughter wasn't soft or polite. It was loud, uneasy, and revealing. The kind of reaction that happens when people recognize something familiar being put into words.
Damn, Harry and Meghan are losing their titles? That's the most embarrassing royal loss since William's hairline.
Noah didn't simply deliver a few jokes about royal life or streaming deals. He approached the topic with precision and timing that felt intentional. Using his global background and perspective, he framed his commentary in a way that stood apart from the usual celebrity humor, giving the moment more weight than a standard monologue. For years, Meghan's public narrative had leaned heavily on positioning criticism as unfair or rooted in misunderstanding. But Noah approached it from a different angle entirely. Instead of attacking, he analyzed. He questioned the contrast between carefully presented public messaging and how those messages were received by different audiences around the world.
Queen has announced that Harry and Meghan can no longer describe themselves as royal. And I won't lie, if I was Harry and Meghan, I'll be like, fine, then we'll be known as royale.
As he spoke, the camera often caught Noah smiling between lines, and the room reacted instantly. This wasn't just about laughs. It was about pointing out how celebrity images are built, managed, and sometimes challenged once they're viewed through a wider lens.
Although I do have to admit this, right? I always find it weird when people introduce a new baby. Because if you think about it, there's such a big contrast between the end product and how it was made. The result of our sweaty night of just raw dogging, #blessed.
One of the most unexpected parts of his commentary was how he addressed conversations around identity and race. Drawing from his own lived experiences, Noah highlighted how public narratives can shift depending on context, media framing, and timing. He didn't accuse. He observed, flipped perspectives, and let the audience connect the dots. He also joked about the modern royal storyline itself, framing it as a blend of old tradition and modern celebrity culture.
Now, the big question is, if Harry and Meghan come to America, where are they gonna live? Everyone wants to know. I think they'll move to LA because Meghan is an actor, and then she's gonna wanna work again, and then Harry can just join the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, just be like fighting on TV. "I know what you said about me, Denise. Say it to my face."
Harry was portrayed as a prince adjusting to life outside the palace, while Meghan was described as someone comfortable navigating powerful social spaces. The humor leaned into contrast, not condemnation.
What's funny is that no matter what job Prince Harry gets, you realize he's still gonna be Prince Harry, right? Can you imagine being his boss when he screws up? Like, what do you call him in and say? "Prince Harry, get in here, your majesty. You blew the Henderson account, my lord. Clean out your desk and may God save the Queen."
The moment landed because it felt less scripted and more reflective. It challenged viewers to think about image, influence, and how public stories evolve once they leave the control of public relations teams. The moment didn't just land as comedy, it reshaped how the couple was being discussed in public. What had once been framed as a serious narrative suddenly shifted into satire.
James Corden is a 12-time Emmy winner and the host of The Late Late Show. He's also living proof that a man can move from London to LA and not tell everyone about his frostbitten penis.
Instead of being seen primarily through a sympathetic lens, they were increasingly portrayed as high-profile celebrities, navigating attention, relevance, and media cycles. That shift spread fast. After Trevor Noah's segment aired, it felt like American comedy spaces collectively picked up on the same tone. Late-night shows, podcasts, and sketch programs all leaned into the moment, moving away from polite commentary and toward sharper celebrity satire. Some hosts leaned into absurd humor, using exaggerated scenarios to poke fun at how fame evolves once public fascination cools. Others took a more observational approach, joking about how modern celebrity culture blurs the line between royalty, influencers, and entertainment branding. Sketch comedy shows joined in as well.
And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
Characters inspired by royal media appearances became recurring bits, exaggerating awkward interviews, public statements, and the contrast between traditional institutions and modern media tours.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
The jokes focused on presentation, tone, and perception, not personal accusations. Podcast culture also played its role. Rather than scripted routines, some hosts reacted casually and openly, turning headlines into long-form discussions mixed with humor and critique. The tone varied, but the theme stayed consistent. Public figures are fair game once they step fully into entertainment spaces.
Hi, oh my God, it's been so long since Meghan Markle.
By the end of that week, Meghan's name was circulating less as a breaking news topic and more as a recurring pop culture reference. The jokes didn't disappear after one episode. They resurfaced across clips, sketches, and conversations, reinforcing a cycle that comedy audiences tend to revisit repeatedly. British comedians approached the situation differently. With closer cultural ties to the monarchy, their humor leaned more toward blunt satire and dry dismissal.
I mean this sincerely, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give a about you.
The jokes reflected familiarity rather than fascination, focusing on irony, contrast, and national perspective. Some performers imagined alternate career paths, exaggerating how life might have unfolded without royal connections. Others dismissed the situation altogether with quick, cutting lines that relied on delivery rather than explanation.
We know what that means.
That's LA. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She's just got lost.
Across both sides of the Atlantic, the message was the same. Once public figures fully embrace celebrity platforms, they become part of the ongoing comedy loop, an environment where perception, presentation, and timing matter just as much as intention. The criticism didn't stop with late-night monologues. One comedian summed up the couple's Netflix series with a single cutting line, framing it as a deeply personal project that felt more focused on self-promotion than storytelling.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. I fucking hate them.
The joke landed hard, not because it was loud, but because it was blunt and instantly relatable. But the sharpest commentary didn't even come from a live stage. Animated satire stepped in and pushed the narrative further, portraying Meghan as intensely focused on fame and image, while Harry was shown as uncertain about his direction. Their departure from royal life was reimagined not as tragedy, but as a carefully planned career pivot that didn't quite land as expected.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job. The card he's playing is, I'm a victim, and you go, no, you're not a fucking victim.
In the UK, the tone shifted quickly. This was no longer treated as a misunderstood love story. Instead, it became framed as a high-profile media strategy that struggled to connect with the public. Unlike American comedy, which often moves on quickly, British satire kept circling back, turning every interview, podcast clip, and streaming appearance into fresh material. The message across British media was loud and clear.
I said H was H was accepted. H has been, H called me with H, and H was out, and with H.
Meghan wasn't just another celebrity figure. She became a recurring topic, almost a cultural fixation, revisited again and again through humor and commentary. When the long-running puppet satire show Spitting Image turned its attention to the couple, the reaction escalated. The exaggerated characters leaned heavily into visual symbolism. Meghan's puppet was styled with constant polish and ambition, while Harry's was portrayed as overly dependent and disconnected. The humor relied on contrast and exaggeration, not subtlety. In several skits, the puppets pitched new business ideas that sounded intentionally over the top, parodying modern celebrity branding rather than royal duty. Streaming deals and wellness projects were treated as exaggerated sales pitches, designed to highlight the gap between public messaging and luxury lifestyles.
My name is Megan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy f***ing Kaling.
What made this satire especially effective was its freedom. Puppet comedy could exaggerate ideas that human performers might avoid, hiding pointed commentary behind absurd visuals. The focus wasn't just wealth, but the perceived contradiction between speeches about hardship and images of high-end homes, private travel, and elite social circles. For many viewers, these sketches stuck. Unlike a late-night joke that fades after one broadcast, the clips circulated online, gathering millions of views and becoming part of pop culture memory. The caricatures lingered, shaping how audiences interpreted future appearances. And just as the tone seemed firmly set, one boundary-pushing comedian delivered a joke that sparked serious debate. Known for walking right up to the line, his delivery was calm, confident, and deliberate. The setup was brief, the punch sharp, leaving little room for reinterpretation and pushing the conversation into more controversial territory. But that punchline didn't land like a normal joke. It landed like a cultural shockwave. The comedian tapped into a deeply sensitive subject tied to Britain's royal history, and the audience reaction was instant. First, loud laughter, then silence.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorite.
Trick that people do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
Oh, how fun is that? I love it.
I like working hard.
This woman is being paid millions of dollars to show how to cut into a pineapple.
The kind that hits when people realize how close the joke cut. Online, the clip spread at lightning speed. Opinions split immediately. Some defended it as dark comedy doing what satire has always done, pushing boundaries. Others argued it crossed a line and shouldn't have gone there at all. Radio shows, panel discussions, and opinion columns jumped in fast, turning one joke into a national debate. And here's the irony: the outrage only amplified it. What might have been a passing moment became the defining controversy in the Meghan and Harry comedy timeline. The moment everyone pointed to and said, "That's where things changed." It became clear the comedy world wasn't just poking fun anymore. Meghan and Harry had turned into a cultural flashpoint, and everyone wanted a reaction, a take, or a clip to claim for themselves. Once comedians had their say, the internet took over completely. TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter turned into non-stop remix zones where short clips of the couple were cut, slowed, captioned, and reshaped into endless parodies running around the clock.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
How'd you feel about it?
What?
It was amazing.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
One viral moment came from a brief exchange in Meghan's Netflix series where she corrected an actress on how she addressed her. It lasted seconds, but creators replayed it endlessly, turning it into a meme template used to mock overcorrections in every imaginable situation. Then came parody lifestyle videos. Creators exaggerated polished kitchens, designer aprons, and carefully staged relatable tips that felt wildly impractical. One skit showed a Meghan lookalike giving budget advice while standing in a massive luxury home, champagne glass in hand. Music parodies followed soon after. Interview clips were auto-tuned into dance tracks with tongue-in-cheek titles, spreading fast across platforms.
Everyone is wondering what they'll do to support themselves without any of that royal cash. Well, good news, Meghan's already got herself a job.
Here comes the first time in her life that Meghan Markle actually touches food. Let's watch that back. Why is she pushing apples into the salad?
And unlike TV comedians, these creators had no reputations to protect. They were anonymous, global, and relentless. Every new appearance became raw material. The narrative was no longer controlled by press releases or interviews. It belonged to the internet now. By this point, the roast wasn't just a moment in pop culture. It had turned into a permanent online genre. Memes, clips, and jokes stacked endlessly, shaping perception in ways no PR strategy could fully reverse. And beneath the laughter, a deeper issue started to surface. Meghan and Harry weren't just being joked about. They had become symbols of a contradiction the public couldn't ignore. On one hand, speaking about media pressure. On the other, fueling the same spotlight that kept them trending. They built an entire post-royal career around sharing their personal story. From high-profile interviews to behind-the-scenes streaming specials, access became the product. And once that pattern was established, comedians and commentators didn't have to work hard to spot the contradiction. Every statement about wanting privacy was quickly followed by a new podcast, photo shoot, or book release. For the public, that contrast became impossible to ignore. What may have been intended as openness instead started to feel like mixed messaging. At the same time, their wealth and celebrity status added another layer. Even when discussing real struggles, the delivery often felt distant from everyday life, creating a gap between the message and the audience they were trying to reach. That's why the satire never really stopped. It wasn't about one joke, one interview, or one headline. It was about a deeper disconnect between the story being told and the reality people believed they were seeing. Once an audience senses that kind of mismatch, everything becomes fair game.
Do you see any of the real Diana in Meghan? Did you?
No.
Really?
No. Sorry.
In the age of social media, contradictions don't fade away. They get clipped, captioned, reposted, and replayed again and again, endlessly. Trevor Noah may have delivered one of the earliest high-profile jokes, but what followed went far beyond a single monologue. American comedians, British satirists, puppet shows, and millions of online creators all added their own takes, reshaping how the couple was discussed across cultures. And here's the part no public figure can fully control. Once someone becomes a recurring joke, every new appearance carries risk. A sincere interview, a carefully staged photo, even a quiet moment can quickly turn into the next viral clip. The challenge isn't just the comedy itself, it's that satire thrives on patterns, and once those patterns are set, humor keeps finding the cracks. That's a cycle that's incredibly difficult to break, which leaves a question that may follow them for years. Can you ever fully reclaim your narrative once the public decides it's more entertaining without you? If you want to see just how far this satire went, including the exact moment Meghan reportedly reacted to Spitting Image's brutal portrayal, check out my previous video right here on All-Star Spotlight. And if you thought this was intense, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one.